help me in my unbelief. Help me in my unbelief. Do you sometimes feel that you could use some help with your belief, this mysterious thing that is belief and faith? In Mark chapter 9, verses 14 to 29, we have this amazing story where a man brings his son who is ill to Jesus and Jesus' disciples, and he wants Jesus to heal them. And I just want to unpack a couple verses here. When he came to Jesus, he said, I brought my son to your disciples. They could not heal him. Verse 19, Jesus, very interestingly, he says, you unbelieving generation. That's quite a comment. Who's he speaking to? This man? His disciples? Maybe all of us in that scenario. He says, you unbelieving generation, how much longer do I have to be with you? How much longer should I put up with you? That's a very interesting expression of Christ. There's some frustration and maybe a little weary at this. Maybe Christ wanted more faith, more breakthrough to be happening around him. But then he says to the man, which is very interesting, he says, how long has the boy been like this? Now again, it's so human. Jesus, as a man, fully man, he asks the man, how long has your boy been like this? He wasn't operating out of this all-knowing kind of database. Jesus was relating and asking this man about his life, about his son. The man says since childhood. And then the man says, if you are willing, you could heal him. And verse 23 is fascinating. Jesus says, if I can, he says, that's what the man said. He said, if you can, you can heal him. And Jesus dwells on the if factor with the man in a challenging, in an admonishing manner. He says, if I can. And then he says, anything is possible to those who believe. So again, we see that Jesus is referencing this issue of belief in the people. You want to see things come from God in your life? We can come alongside Jesus tentatively and kind of, if you can. And Jesus is challenging us there. He's going, if I can. He wants more. He says, anything is possible to those who believe. Now, verse 24, the man says something that it should be a comfort to us. He says, I do believe. Help me in my unbelief. Mark 9:24. I do believe. Help me in my unbelief. And, he was hearing what Christ was saying. He was seeing and feeling this invitation of faith from Jesus to enter into what it is God was doing, what it is this man actually wanted to see God do. Remember, this man brought his son to Jesus. He wanted healing from Jesus. And Jesus was saying, look, if this is what you want, well, come on in. Be part of this. Put your hand to this. Believe. Be unsafe. Take a risk. Step in. If you're coming to me, then come to me. Stand with me. Believe in me. It is possible. This is very challenging to us because, there are things we want from God. There are things we want to see God do in our lives. But we don't want to take the risk. We don't necessarily want to identify with Jesus. We don't necessarily want to be seen as in on the faith so that people can, say, oh, look at him. He believed and, well, it didn't happen. Or he believes in Jesus and, things don't work out. And we don't want the risk of the misunderstanding and the ridicule of the world. So what we do is we kind of come to God on the QT. We're like, Lord, if you can do this, it would sure be great. And God's like, if I can do this? Remember, the whole message about God is being in relationship, being one with God. When we come to God, God draws us and says, listen, this message just isn't about me healing your son, or this message is about being united, man with God again, come. This is how we honor Jesus, not by testing his power and throwing up a prayer and saying, Lord, if you can, it would sure be great if you would. No, we honor God with our faith in him, standing with him. Hebrews 11:6, without faith it is impossible to please God. The whole purpose of Christ was so that we could be back in the presence of God, not just have him help us, but to be back in the presence of God. It says in Ephesians 3:20, in him and through faith in him, we may approach God with confidence and freedom. That is the mystery of God revealed. That is the good news. And so, even as we do need the Lord and we come and we persist in prayer with the Lord, listen to the Lord's invitation to you. He calls you to stand with him, to draw near to him. If this is something you want more of and you're like, I do believe, but I don't feel I have a belief that is closer. God gives us this verse, this story, John 9:24. We too can pray like that man prayed. Lord, we believe, help us in our unbelief. We can do that. Maybe you need to do that today. Maybe you need to draw closer but can't do it in your own strength. So you say, Lord, I believe. I want to believe more. I know more faith would honor you, but I need your help to increase my faith. So from him, through him, and to him are all things, including our faith. God bless you.